You can't outwork a poor product launch into success, but a good product strategy can help you determine successful products that will help you shine in your market's competitive landscape. Introducing UExec's Product Strategy Framework. Use UExec's Product Strategy Framework deck to improve your current product strategy, better communicate your vision, and organize cross-functional collaborations that align everyone toward a common goal. The one-page Product Strategy Framework slide simplifies the product strategy process. Answer core questions about your customer, product, company, and don't forget the competition. Define key success metrics like customer retention, product reach, go-to-market viability, and brand power. Use the product strategy canvas to map your product vision with user personas, user journeys, and user stories. Detail your product's implementation constraints, design wireframes, and potential in a brief format. Present your data in a simple way that communicates key value. Outline your key product strategies and show just how much progress you've made on each with this 5-step product strategy slide. Measure viability and define the tactics needed to put the plan into action. Every product's success or failure rests on the choices made in its development. A goal-first approach from a solid product strategy guides successful development, defines what your product is supposed to achieve, builds context around your market, and aligns your entire team behind a shared vision. The presentation helps hone the focus and communicate the vision to analyze the success and viability of a product or new feature before you actually even develop it. From there, it's all about execution. For a more detailed breakdown of this presentation, stick around to the end of this video. And for more business resources and frameworks, don't forget to subscribe.
Hey there, welcome to this product strategy framework presentation. We just wanted to quickly walk you through the slides and show you how you may use this presentation for product strategy or for other purposes as well. So you have a product vision and you probably have some sort of product timeline or roadmap set up, but in between the two, you also need different ways of strategizing to make sure that you can get from point A to Z. So this is a presentation that you can use to communicate your findings, your vision, your proposals to your team, so everyone who's working on the product can be aligned and share the same vision. So first, we are getting introduced to the product strategy frameworks. And the first 1/3 of this presentation is more going to be on the educational, on the learning side of things. So we first discuss, where product strategy actually falls. So we have business objectives, and then we have the strategy, and then we have the specific tactics that you can implement. And here are the main components that typically make up a product strategy. So we have the product vision, we have the customer persona, who you're designing and making the product for. We have how the product is being positioned in the market. We have how you differentiate from your competitors, and also overall the goals and initiatives that you're trying to achieve with this product. Maybe it's to increase your revenue, maybe it's to rebrand yourself, etc., etc. And here we have this Venn diagram that's actually quite complex to draw if you were to do it from scratch. We're talking about product strategy here, but really you can use this Venn diagram, which is a very common way of visualizing things for anything else, any other topics. So in this example, we are dividing this Venn diagrams into 4 big areas. We're talking about the user needs, we're talking about the company vision, the market needs, and core capabilities of the product, and how they overlap with each other. And here we have what we call a one-page product strategy framework. So once again, that we're kind of dividing the strategy into 4 main components. This is just a very typical example of how the strategy comes together. But of course, for each organization, the situation might be different. So we have customer, product, company, competition here. But maybe for you, you're talking more about sales, revenue, brand, marketing, etc. And this is a matrix kind of presentation for product strategies. And in this scenario, we're using product strategies in marketing as an example. And once again, you can use product strategies for anything, whether it's for marketing, for sales, for a digital product, or even physical product. Now, the matrix visualization is pretty useful in many instances, not just limited to product development. So, you can really make the y-axis or the x-axis represent anything. And in this case, we talk about which would be the core space and which would be the new or current products, so to emphasize what your strategies are focusing on and which is the low-hanging fruit and which perhaps could require more investment and resources, so you can prioritize what components of your strategies are more worth pursuing while bringing in the highest ROI. This is definitely one of the more complex slides in this presentation. I think, this sort of table visualization is good when you want to put in or list a lot of information while still keeping everything really neat looking. So here are the 5 stages that we have proposed for, in order to achieve an excellent product. So horizontally, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5 stages, and vertically, we have the different components to your product strategy. So we have user insights, we have the actual strategy, and then we have how your insights and strategy come together to produce a coherent roadmap. We're now moving on to the canvas section. So product strategy canvases are extremely useful for representing the different elements that you have to consider when developing a product. And, they serve as a very good reminder to keep you on track and not losing sight of what you were originally aiming to accomplish. So we have the vision and the product name at the very top, and this is a very typical layout. We have the user persona, the user journey, and then the user story. So all of these are reminding you who the customers are, who you're designing for. And then under the user journey, we have to talk about the constraints, the design, and the epics. Epics meaning the broader views of functionality. This is another way of visualizing the product strategy canvas. And you can see the different color blocks here. So this block means that we're all talking about the sales and marketing channels, the pricing, and then this block we are specifically assigning to our competitors. We're discussing who they are, what their strengths and weaknesses are. And here we are talking about ourselves. We talk about how we differentiate who we are, our strengths and weaknesses, and on top of that, what are the advantages we have, the core competency we have that can sustain long-term growth. And at the very bottom, we are talking about more macro level trends, right? Market trends, risks, the larger environment that unfortunately in many cases we don't have control of, but we need to be aware of what's going on in the world in order to develop something that's actually suitable for the environment. And once again, the product strategy canvas, we move from strategy. You can see all these arrows pointing to the next part of the thought process, to developing goals and initiatives, to developing the roadmaps and backlogs, and then finally the sprints and releases that actually push features into the market. Now, this particular canvas is good for framing your ideas and presenting them to whoever you're speaking to. This is almost like a verbal template for you to organize your thoughts. So we start with a vision. Insert the time frame, company will be the vision statement. So for example, in 2 years, company ABC will be the leader in cybersecurity development. So we have to lay out the challenge, like where we stand, right? In order to fulfill this vision, what are the measurable, quantifiable objectives we need to pay attention to, and by when do we need to accomplish this objective or set of objectives? And in order to reach this challenge, we first need to, here's the first baby step. After measuring the current conditions, we know our current state is this. So you need to position yourself correctly, in the present, know what you're capable of and know what you're lacking in order to understand what else you need to work on to get to that future state. And this is a cool graph to show, perhaps you have all these different strategies or features you want to develop and how much progress that you've made, how much you've accomplished, what are the metrics you're using to measure, and what are the tactics you are using to accomplish these metrics. Now, this is more of a long-term roadmap. In this particular example, we're using year 3, year 5, year 10, so it's a span of a whole decade. So this is all very long-term vision stuff, right? So we first develop the ecosystem, and then we develop the products, and then we develop innovative technologies to further propel ourselves as the industry leader. So this is this particular example, of course, target more of a digital product strategy. The ecosystem, the products, the technologies, you can really change it to anything else. And right here, we specify what these categories mean. So an ecosystem, the company is the ecosystem. For products, in this case, it looks like we're developing an app, right? We're going to want the video feature, we want a messenger feature, we want a chat feature. And the technologies, from everything that we've been doing, that we are now allocating some of our resources to developing high-tech features that, will broaden our scope and give us that extra push to be the industry leader. Now we're moving on to the roadmap. Product strategy roadmap, you definitely need that. It's hard to develop products without some sort of roadmap visualization. They're kind of like the Gantt charts for project management, right? So we have product line 1, 2, 3, and this is a pretty big overview, I'd say. And we also have progress bars here to show, how much of it you've accomplished. And in this example, we have color-coded these different things into digital experience, cost, performance, and you're free to categorize them into anything, or perhaps you don't want to categorize, and that's totally fine. In this case, we are doing a quarterly duration, so we have quarter 1 to quarter 4 down here. And another quarterly roadmap. We propose our milestones in the very beginning because, that's the big picture stuff we want to accomplish. We always want to keep those at the top. And we have 4 different sections. Previously, we had different product lines. And in this case, we have different components to a product line. And that concludes our product strategy framework.
And for more business resources and frameworks, don't forget to subscribe.